Your ancestors had one punishment. It killed almost everyone it touched. Not execution, not torture, just being told to leave. And here is the terrifying part. Your brain processes that rejection as physical pain. Not metaphorically, neurologically, identically. That terror of being left out never left you. It rewired your DNA. So what exactly did Stone Age punishment do to the human brain? Because you are still carrying it. Every anxiety spike, every sleepless night. The trial never ended. It just moved inside your skull. Here is where it starts. For 99% of human history, your tribe was everything. Outside it, you lasted maybe 3 days. So when communities needed to punish someone, they had the ultimate weapon. Not death, removal. In 1994, archaeologists excavating the Atapuerca cave site in Spain found something that stopped them cold. Multiple skulls, same individuals, same injury, repeated over years. These people were not killed once. They were punished repeatedly. Brought back. Punished again. The bone had healed between strikes, meaning they survived. Meaning the tribe let them survive, deliberately. Organized, systematic. Social control 430,000 years before the first written law. And every time a punishment like that happened publicly, every witness's amygdala fired. Not just the victim. Everyone watching learned the same lesson in their nervous systems. That lesson got encoded, passed down, compounded across thousands of generations. But banishment was only one tool. There was something more specific and more terrifying. Being forced to sleep outside camp, alone, in the dark. Multiple prehistoric societies used this as a formal punishment. One night outside the fire. One night in the Paleolithic dark without protection meant lions, hyenas, rival tribes. You did not sleep. You could not. Here is what that selection pressure created over millennia, a specific gene variant for hypervigilant insomnia. 40% of modern humans carry it. You may be one of them. Lying awake at 3 a.m. for no reason your conscious mind can name. Your brain is still listening for something that stopped hunting your ancestors 12,000 years ago. Now here is where the evidence gets disturbing in a different way. Neolithic communities didn't just exile wrongdoers. Some marked them permanently, ritual scarification, deliberate mutilation as punishment. The skeletal stress markers left behind are measurable, and they mirror, precisely, the brain architecture found in modern PTSD patients. Not similar, not comparable. The same signature. Trauma responses were being physically bred into human neurology through repeated selection. The marked individual had to keep living inside the community that marked them. Watched, reminded, always visible. And some communities had something even worse than marking, something that left no physical scar at all. They erased the person's name, spoke around them, never addressed them directly, kept them alive but socially dead. Evidence of this appears in Neanderthal burial sites. One figure buried face down, separated, stripped of ritual, indicating they died as a social non-person. Researchers call this the walking death sentence. The body lives, the identity is executed. Here is the brutal finding. Nameless individuals died faster than exiled ones. Physical exile gave you something to fight against. Identity erasure gave you nothing. This may explain why human identity need is so neurologically extreme. Why losing your sense of self feels like dying. Because for your ancestors, it literally was. Now here is the piece that should genuinely unsettle you. A 2019 Cambridge study tracked a specific gene variant, the one controlling fawn response. The urge to appease an aggressor, to submit before being punished. That gene spiked in human populations precisely when communal punishment rituals became organized, when the tribe began punishing as a group instead of individuals punishing each other. Stone Age mob justice selected for submission. The people who immediately surrendered, who appeased the group, who made themselves small, they survived. You do this in meetings, in arguments, when someone raises their voice at you in public. Your nervous system is running a Stone Age survival program. It doesn't know the stakes have changed. And it doesn't stop there. Every social rejection your brain registers today, an unanswered message. Being left out of a group lights up your anterior cingulate cortex, the same region, the same intensity as physical injury. This is not sensitivity. This is architecture, built by punishment. The campfire is gone. The social death sentence is still running in your bloodstream. So what do you do with this? Knowing that your anxiety, your sleeplessness, your desperate need to belong were engineered by violence, the research suggests naming it changes its power. When you recognize the fawn response activating, the hypervigilance firing, you create distance from the program. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are the descendant of every person who survived the most brutal social gauntlet evolution ever designed. The punishment shaped you, but understanding the punishment is the first thing your ancestors never got to do. You have something none of them had, the knowledge of why, and that changes everything. But let's go deeper, because understanding that these responses exist is only half of it. The architecture of your fear is not one thing, it is layered. Each layer deposited by a different form of Stone Age punishment. Think of it as geological. You are standing on top of 400,000 years of compressed social terror, which is why a minor social snub today can trigger a response completely disproportionate to the actual event. Your nervous system is not overreacting. It is accurately responding to what that signal meant for 99% of human history. The signal hasn't updated, only the consequences have. And this matters in ways researchers are only beginning to map, because these responses compound. One perceived rejection triggers a cascade that suppresses your immune system, disrupts your sleep, and elevates stress hormones for up to 72 hours. Not because you are fragile, because your body is preparing for the physical consequences that rejection used to guarantee. 3 days without fire, 2 days without water, 1 night alone with no weapons. The math was always brutal. Your body does not know the predators are gone. It is still running the countdown every single time. And that Cambridge gene study found something else buried in the data. The fawn response variant did not plateau after the Neolithic. It continued rising through every era when organized group punishment intensified. Bronze Age law codes, medieval public execution, every system that made crowds into enforcers selected harder for submission. We did not leave this behind, we digitized it. The mob is now global. The fawn response is now on a hair trigger. The mechanism is the same. The neurology is the same. The gene expression is the same. Only the medium changed, which means modern humans are potentially experiencing more social rejection pain signals per day than any of their ancestors ever did in a lifetime. Your grandfather might have faced 3 significant social rejections in a year. You may process that many before lunch. The hypervigilance gene was designed for one terrifying night outside the fire. It was not designed for a continuous low-grade signal running every waking hour. Researchers now believe this chronic partial activation, never fully triggered, never fully resolved, may be the underlying architecture of modern generalized anxiety disorder. Not a malfunction, not a disorder that appeared from nowhere. A 430,000-year-old survival system running in an environment it was never built for. So the next time your chest tightens before a difficult conversation, the next time you cannot sleep and cannot name why, know that you are not experiencing a flaw. You are receiving a signal from every ancestor who survived long enough to pass their genes forward. Every one of them made it through. The exile, the marking, the name erasure, the mob. They survived it all. And so did you. You just finally know what you survived.